Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Guide to Financial and Personal Mastery. My name is Marion. I'm a business strategy consultant, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I know that your time is important, and please see this as a meeting. So I'll try and keep it short. I'll keep it to about 30 minutes. So my name is Marion. I'm a business strategy consultant. I have had the good fortune of working as management in a number of positions, my favorite being a manager at a five-star hotel. But I have also held positions in divisions and subdivisions of large conglomerates, both national that have big brands nationally as well as internationally. I have held the prestigious title of being a fundraiser for the top non-profit conservation organization in South Africa. I have been headhunted for a lot of my positions. I've worked in FMCG, particularly in the liquor industry, particularly in the wine industry. And for instance, one of the big organizations that I worked for and was headhunted to head up a department that had been running at a loss for a number of years. I was brought in, I streamlined the team and the processes, and it made so much money that they decided to actually make it a division of their company, and they bought up a number of wine farms. So just as an example, I have a good track record, and whenever I've worked a position, I've been able to increase the numbers and the bottom line of that department. I've managed teams, small teams. I've worked as a team member myself. I've worked solo on projects as well as with teams. I have been in middle management. I've been in top management. I have run a number of small businesses myself, either independently or my husband and I actually ran a couple of businesses together. So independently, most noteworthy is my photographic studios. I was very fortunate enough to land up becoming a celebrity photographer. I was featured in a number of international magazines, well-known magazines, as well as on television. And then I sold children's products and personalized products and ceramic items as well, also to do with children. And I landed up actually franchising both the children's products as well as the photographic studios, and franchised 20 businesses in the process. My husband and I, as I said, ran a couple of businesses together. One of them was an autoglass dealership, which was based in Sandton, which is one of the financial hubs of Africa. And we worked with really top clients there because we focused on replacing windscreens in luxury vehicles as well as bulletproof glass. And that business did very well for us. So I've held a number of positions, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, but I have really held a number of positions in the business industry, and I had a diversity and a variety of experiences across the board. I approach business like on a project basis. So through that, I've been lucky to have been exposed to a lot of things. So most recently, and when I say recently, it was about 10 years ago, I started a business called Art Infographic. And Art Infographic really focused on social media and was a digital media house. And we were doing social media for clients, on behalf of clients, doing their Facebook ads, their scheduling, their content calendars, creating the actual content, doing blog posts, all of that kind of stuff. And then the business, it's actually pivoted a few times over the years. So the business pivoted, going with one of my value systems of educating people with small businesses. I started an education side of it, going to people's homes, and even people that were afraid to even switch on their computer. I'd go in there and train them on social media and how to automate it and how to set it up so that they wouldn't need to work on their social media full time. And that was back in the day when, these platforms that we all know today, like Canva, Hootsuite, those kind of programs weren't known. So I'd go through and train people in doing that. But I kept on getting requests for my copywriting. And the reason for that is that I am a very good copywriter and I know SEO and what keywords are needed, where to put the headlines, how to set it up so that it gets traction on Google. And so, I kept on getting these requests to do copywriting, in particular for doing website copy. So the about page and all of that, and the home page and all of that, and making sure that the SEO, the on-page SEO is right. So I was able to pivot Art Infographic to become a copyright studio. We still have the social media and the digital media house, and we're actually looking to franchise that. So and set it up with freelancers. So if anybody who's listening to this is interested in buying a franchise, we are setting that up, and you're welcome to contact me via my email. But the copywriting really grew. We landed up with between 11 and 14 freelancers at any time. And we got to do quite a lot of great projects with that. And with COVID, we had to downscale our operations a lot. And I moved to Johannesburg and I partnered with another copyright studio. And with that, it really grew in that I was able to, when I talk about growing, the portfolio really grew because I was able to work with big brands. And one of the brands that you may recognize is Flight Center. I was lucky enough to write articles on countries on Africa as well as other countries. I did a whole series on the best diving and the best snorkeling spots in the world, white Christmases, festivals. I really got the prestige copyright opportunities. Along with that, I got to write speeches for red carpet events, completely unrelated to the travel side of things. I was able to then also work with real estate, in particular developments, and design and write up their newsletters and their company communications. And so I've been able to work with travel, with luxury, real estate, developments, and where I really realized that my copywriting is at the right level was when I started working for offshoring companies. Those are companies that have staff that are based in other countries, and worked with top offshore companies that do offshoring for some of the larger brands that software companies and energy companies. I was also hired to establish a copyright studio in one of South Africa's largest parastatal companies worth billions. And the copyright studio wasn't worth billions, but the actual company's worth billions. So yes, I got to do that. I got to work with some of the best top ad agencies in South Africa. and I was hired as a sub-editor for Rebuild South Africa, which was the news and war room of when there was unrest in South Africa, and getting the news and the right articles out very quickly. And news was just coming in at a super speed, and we were getting that information out to the public and doing fundraising together with that. So that's just an idea of some of the things that I have been involved in, and it's more that you can kind of get to know me, but we've got a lot to go through. So let's just move on. Like right now, what we want to talk about is your guide to financial and personal mastery. And so the whole idea here is to transform your business acumen into personal financial mastery. And I'm really talking about personal finance here. And why am I talking about personal finance when when you're a business owner? So after I did the copywriting, my studio, I was actually interviewed at an investment bank as a brand manager. And in that interview, I realized I really would like to not work for somebody. I still want to be an independent business owner. But I realized, I have skills here from working in large corporates, and I've had mentorship all these years. I've had really, really top mentors that have taught me frameworks and strategies. And that's what I applied in the businesses and departments. And that's why the numbers really worked, because I applied these strategies into the business and we got results. So as an example, as a small business owner, you might know of a SWOT analysis. That's a very famous framework. It's a very simple but very powerful one. And that's, recognizing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. If you don't know about it, you should go check it out. But that's just one framework. What I've done is I've actually put a textbook together of all the frameworks that I've learned over the years, whether it be from books, from mentorships, from some of the top consulting companies, such as the Boston Consulting Group, or from McKinsey's. I've put all of that together, and I've created a textbook of these frameworks and strategies. And it's a 350-page textbook, and in my opinion, it is not all-encompassing, really. It's really about the frameworks that small business can implement in their business to really get some headway. So, if the SWOT analysis is one powerful framework, you can imagine how many is in a textbook of 350 pages. And what I've found is that there's a problem with small business, in that there's a small business mindset, in that people think like that if you've got a product and you can sell it for more than it costs you to put together, and you have a simple invoicing system and maybe a basic website and a basic shop, then you're in business. And that is so far from the truth. That is possibly one of the biggest reasons why most businesses fail in the first 3 to 5 years. I mean, I don't want to laugh, but I laugh at the acumen, and the understanding of business, because that is just so shocking. A lot of business owners don't take in their time. They don't take in things like utilities, or the cost of the space that they're working in, or replacing of their equipment, or depreciation of their equipment. And they don't land up growing and scaling as they should. So what I've done is that I work with small businesses and I help them apply these frameworks and strategies so that they can improve and get more people actually engaging. I help them with their product pricing, how to position it, and how to get engagement, how to run their sales funnels, their newsletters, their blogs. There's a whole lot to it. And in conversations with these small businesses, I've realized that even though they may have a basic idea of how to run their business financials, which generally seems to be understood on a month-to-month basis, they don't really have a handle on their personal finances. And the reason for that is that very often personal finances are taught from the point of view of you get a set amount of income. From that income, you have to pay your expenses. Some of those expenses are maybe a bit of money for a retirement fund, a bit of money for a medical something. And then whatever's left over goes towards entertainment and the kids, and a bit maybe goes to saving for the next vacation, and it goes month to month like that. And that's all fine and well, and that kind of works. Still not the best system, but that kind of works for most people that are in a salaried job that have a set income. But where I've seen things fall apart is when the business, for instance, downgrades and salaries become lower, for instance, or when somebody decides to work part-time versus full-time. Or another case would be if somebody starts getting commission, so they've got a set salary, but they've got this commission that comes in bursts. So 1 month it might be a very little commission, next month it might be a lot. Or if they are a business owner or an entrepreneur where they've got money coming in inconsistent, it comes in bursts. And that, for instance, is an example of where I am at, because our most popular product is an 18-month course that we offer to small businesses. It is to move a business from proof of concept into a minimum viable product. You can go and look at that up if you want to, but basically most businesses run as a proof of concept, and I help them to set up their right foundations, their organizational charts, their documenting, that they document their stuff correctly, their regulations, and their teams, and hiring on new people, and their SOPs and all of that type of stuff. So it's an 18-month program that we have. We've also got 3-month programs that we operate on. And then I have clients, because we offer discounts when they pay up front, I have clients that pay up front. So I get these lump sums of income, as well as people that are like paying for VIP days that I run. And so I've got like bits of money coming from all sorts of different places, and kind of to manage that can become a bit difficult if I had to do it in the way that we get taught, where it's like you get your income and you take out your expenses and you put a bit aside for saving kind of system. It just doesn't translate well to somebody who's an entrepreneur or a small business owner, for example. So what I did was I decided to put together a program to help people that are in this sort of situation. And to be honest with you, I work with various sizes of businesses in consulting them, and I only take on about 5 to 10 clients a month. And obviously I take up fewer if I've got bigger accounts that I'm working on. So as an example, right now I'm working with a group that is busy building a physical hospital, as well as setting up an online university, and that requires a lot more consultation and support. And that, so in that case, I take on fewer clients. So I'm not really here to try and maximize profits from selling this course. I'd rather have 1,000 people that are taking it at 500 Rand than charging my prices that I usually charge, which is 1,000 Rand an hour that I charge for my consultation. So I am offering this course at a very affordable price of 500 Rand per questionnaire. So it's a series of 6 questionnaires. I'll go into it a little bit further with you a little bit later, but let's go through our slides here. I'm going to try and go through them quite quickly. So we've got 2 customer segments really that I'm talking to at the moment. So there's the business owners, where it's like, are you just surviving your finances? And that's not just about like paying your bills at the end of the month. It's also, do you have systems in place? Are you finding yourself like, okay, this month it's like, oh gosh, this month is really tight. We need to tighten our belts. We're going to have to eat cheap cuts of meat and live on potatoes for the month. And now we need to just get some extra cash in. Let's run some campaign. Let's do a little bit of a sale and see if we can get some more money in so that next month isn't that tough. And that for me is just surviving your finances. Then there's another group, which is your wealth working for you? And those are the entrepreneurs that do have the systems in place. They're not running campaigns based on what's happening in their personal finances. Their company has the campaign calendars in place, promotional calendars, all of that. And the entrepreneurs have now become strong enough that they are actually making quite a lot of money. But is their investment portfolio right? Do they have the right income streams? What, are they leveraging their debt correctly? So it's kind of one or the other. There seems to be 2 extremes, it's the feast or famine. And so both of those groups, please listen up, because this course is really for you. It's not really even a course, it's an assessment. So yeah, I've just listed here some of the pain points that businesses have. It's things that we've kind of covered: complex financial landscape, multiple income streams, investments, tax. Tax is a big, scary thing of business ownership. And then there's the lack of time for financial planning. As a business owner, you're often wearing multiple hats. Like in the morning, you might be answering emails. From there, you might be climbing in the car, going to the printer, collecting something from there or from the warehouse or whatever, and then going to a networking event. And it's not necessarily that do you lack the time for financial planning. It's like, are you actually in the mood for it? And if you actually set time aside for it, would you know even where to begin? How do you actually get a handle on your personal finances when it's all ad hoc and happening as it's going along? So I've got 5 pain points that I kind of cover here. There's the emotional stress and anxiety. I alluded to that earlier on, where your personal finance is really tied into the operations of your business. So your personal finances, your bank account is looking a bit tight this month, so are you going to push on your business to bring in some extra cash, and vice versa. So your personal finance can stress your business can stress your personal finance. And then of course the inconsistent income fluctuations, and a section that most small business owners don't even get to is succession and estate planning. So one of the reasons why I've put this together is that, as I say, the consulting, although I've been doing it for many years, through working with my franchisees, through working with my staff and teams, and with it being involved with directors of businesses and all of that kind of stuff, and mentorship, I have been in the consulting field for many years, but it's only really this year that I've established it as a business. And I am still, there's some tweaks on the website that I need to get right and that type of stuff. But yeah, I've developed some programs. As I say, I've put together the textbook and various things like that. But having come to Johannesburg after 10 years down in Cape Town, my family was really responsible for their own finances for a while. And even though my husband and I had, in the interim become millionaires and lived the life, I didn't actually have to work when I was in Cape Town for about 10 years. I lived on a beautiful marina, had the lifestyle, traveled the country, went to some of the best festivals, and experienced a whole lot of life a bit, and homeschooled my kid for a bit, and I got to spend a lot of quality time with my child. Was able to put him into a farm school of my choice and then an international school. So we made a lot of money through our business endeavors over the years, and I was able to take time out to really spend time with my child and with my husband and living life. When I came up to Joburg, I realized that even though I have siblings and they were kind of closer with my parents and everything, that my parents' retirement was just shocking. That they have, because they didn't really have a good handle on their personal finances, that they've been struggling now with their retirement, and I had to help them out with very expensive medical expenses recently. So that has really just really taken a toll on my personal finances, and I'm going to close businesses a lot. Like each time is almost like a reinvention. And now I'm kind of reinventing stuff for myself on a personal financial level. And with that, I've created a course to try and help other people that can learn from the lessons that I've learned and the experiments and the things that I've done in the past that have worked. So therefore the succession and estate planning is really a top of mind for me right now. And so I put these up. These are people that are well known, obviously, Kevin Hart and J.K. Rowling. These are celebrities and they're rich. They've got a lot of money. But even the problem is, up until the point where they could hire financial advisors to look after their income streams and advise them correctly, they were relying on doing their personal finances kind of themselves. And that's why I've put these quotes here, is like people who ultimately made a lot of money and were successful as celebrities or authors or comedians or whatever, they had, at a point, they had difficulty. And I mean, what do you do, for instance, if you are completely starting out, and you don't even, you're just really saving enough money to be able to pay your rent, but you're actually not sure if you're going to even be able to pay food this month. And maybe you've got a bill that's outstanding and you might not pay that bill every month for the next 3 months, and then in 3 months' time you get some money and you pay those bills, but then you don't have any extra. Like, how do you actually set up a system so that you can get out of that and get into a more disciplined process? And we don't get taught that. And it's really difficult, that stage from 0 to a point where you can get financial advisors. And that's the bridge that this course, this program is set up to address, to bridge that. So that's what it offers you. It gives you those templates, it gives you notes. I write a lot of notes and referring to where that information comes from, so that you can then apply it and you can set up the structures and you can build on those structures. And within a period of a few months, you're going to see a big difference in how you manage your personal finances. So what I'm really saying here is, don't beat yourself up. I mean, it all makes logical sense that you take your income, you take off your expenses, you put some aside for savings. It all makes logical sense. But as a business owner or entrepreneur or a commission earner, or somebody who's got changing circumstances and your business is pretty dynamic, it's really, don't beat yourself up that your personal finances are confusing to you. And it's happened to the best, So your roadmap to financial clarity and confidence. I'm going to go through that quickly. So here I'm really introducing the personal finance maturity assessment program, and I really do want to say that it is an assessment. So you don't fill in numbers. You have two options. You can fill in the questionnaires, and then that information gets sent through to me. It goes onto Excel spreadsheet, and then I email that back to you, and then you can print it off, you can put it up, highlight it, and work through it. And that's really the system I would recommend. Like it works almost like a checklist. It says, is this in place? Here are some options for you. Which option would you choose? It's not asking you for your financial details. It's not asking you for numbers. You could have 100 million in your bank account. You could have zero in your bank account. I wouldn't know at the end of the day. And honestly, I really don't have time to go through people's questionnaire responses and judge them on their financial situation. It's not where I'm at. I'm focused on building businesses and helping people to move to the next level, whatever that next level is. You know, so if it's from 0 to 1, then I'll help them with that. If it's 1 to 100, I'll help them with that, whatever that step is for them. So it's not about, you know, gathering information or data or anything like that. But I do understand, you know, working with large corporates that I do. I mean, confidentiality is a big part of my job. It's actually a big part of why people refer work to me, is because they know that my structure is made in such a way that I very confidential. There's strong NDAs in place. I actually don't generally put my camera on when I work at that level. It's because I work with one of the businesses that I've worked with is worth 11 billion rand. And, you know, I also work with government. I've worked with banks. I think I've mentioned, I'm not sure, but you know, with the copywriting, I did a lot of work with banks, and it was more with the central banks and the payment systems that are being put in place internationally. So of course, like a lot of the work that I do is confidential, and that although my identity not as much, if you're in Johannesburg, we can go and sit down and have a cup of coffee. You can also go onto my social media. I'm really only on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I don't really have much time. I'm so busy doing it for other clients. I really don't run my social media very much, and I'm quite a private person. So yes, okay, so these are the pain points, as I mentioned, and it just talks about, you can go and look at the PDFs that I've got here. I don't actually want to talk, you know, to take up more than your time than I need to, but you know, I don't know if you know Oscar Wilde. He was a famous playwright, very controversial guy, but I do like this quote. So when I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I'm old, I know that it is. It's actually my birthday on Monday, the 16th of September, 2024. I am turning 50. And as I've said, you know, looking at my family situation, looking at myself, and now, you know, setting up my business and getting everything up and running and going, and all of that. This quote for me is really driving things home, and I see the need to get all of these things in place, and I really like to take you along with me and teach you as I'm going along. So what you'll gain from the program is value and ROI. We've actually got 3 promises at our business, which is consistency, deliverability, and 10% ROI. So we don't want you to see yourself as spending money or spending money with us. It's really about investing money in yourself, and that you get that same money back plus a minimum of 10%. And as I've said, the questionnaires are 500 Rand each. So it's like really affordable. You get 550 Rands worth of value out of doing each and every of those questionnaires and working through it for yourself. And then trust and reputation. I've kind of covered my history, as it were, with business and my milestones. There's a lot more I can cover with that. If you'd like to pop on WhatsApp with me, I can talk to you about some of the businesses that I've worked with. It's just been phenomenal, an amazing journey. And you know, if you're interested in that, you can also contact me with that. You can send me a message on LinkedIn, any of that. If you've got any questions or any concerns or anything like that, you know, so you can Google and ask away. And then obviously there's the time saving. So whatever you put in now, these questionnaires are about 12 questions per questionnaire, very, very, very carefully curated questions, so the right ones to move. You know, each single one is an exercise in itself. And when you do that, you're going to see it's going to move the needle for you. And although it's going to take you a bit of time to go through the questionnaire and put the things in place, it's going to just save you years and years and years and a lot of money down the line. So it's a time savings thing. Anyways, I've added here the entrepreneurial journey of Richard Branson. Some people here might be a younger customer base. Me being 50, when I was like in my 20s and 30s, and Richard Branson came out with his book, and he, you know, and I've been very fortunate in that I am part of a Virgin startup in the UK. I've got to know the family, Richard's family, quite well. I've written articles for Virgin Atlantic, so there's quite a good correlation and association that my business has with Richard Branson. But I've added this in here because I'm sure you've noticed the whole theme that I've got going here is adrenaline sports and adventure and explorers. I myself am an adventurer. I was diving as a teenager at 12 years old, diving for many years. I started a diving school. I've done skydiving. I've bungee jumped the highest bungee. You know, I've traveled South Africa flat. I've had incredible experiences. But there's the other side of me who likes to have a cat and to read my books and to have a vegetable garden. And if you're one of those people, then you know this is for you just as much. But in keeping with the adventure and exploration, I've added this about Richard Branson. You can read a little bit further if you're interested in that. As you can see, it's been created by Art Infographic. That's the name of my business over there. And underneath this slideshow, there should be a link to my website. You can go and have a little look at more of the stuff that we do over there. What I really like is Richard's quote of my philosophy is that if I have any money, I invest it in myself and my business. And that's what, you know, purchasing one of these questionnaires in the program would be, is investing in yourself and investing in the business and vice versa. So I've added this section here. It's really, if you don't want to invest at all, it's kind of a checklist. It's very shallow. It's actually pretty boring. It's kind of the stuff that you'll find on Google. But if you don't have what they call table stakes, these are table stakes that you need for your business. If you don't have these in place, then you're kind of dead in the water. You really need to get these things in place and tick them off the list. But the program makes it much more fun, much more interactive, and this isn't all that gets covered. This is very just it's here for people that don't want to purchase any of the questionnaires. But you know, I want to help as many people as possible, and hopefully if they're in that state, then at least hopefully this can kind of help them. And you know, I've added some tips there for them. So that's yeah. But honestly, take the personal finance maturity assessment. You know, as you can see, what's involved in this maturity assessment is a set of questionnaires. You can buy the questionnaires individually. Here's what they are. So questionnaire number 1 is financial planning strategy, your budgeting and expense management, your income generation strategy, investment management, debt management, savings and emergency funds, and then wealth building and growth. So I actually have a free questionnaire that you can click on, and you'll see it here in the marketing material. And if you click on that, it's got kind of key questions that are related to each of these questionnaires. And from that, you can kind of determine if you're only going to buy one questionnaire or a bundle of 3, for instance, that you know which ones to do, because through that exercise you'll realize where your weakest areas are that you need to work on. So Art Infographic also offers bundles, and then we have also a premium product, and a range of business strategy consulting services. So there's the prices. Individual questionnaires are 500 Rand. A bundle of 3 works out to the same, 1,500 Rand. And the reason for that is we've included in the premium package, which also includes 2 consultations. My usual price is 1,000 Rand per hour of consultations, unless it's on a program. And I'd highly recommend that you check out the 18-month small business consulting program that we've got, because that is 2,500 Rand a month, and it includes 4 consultations as well as all the material that's involved with that. So you really get good value for that. But in this case, with personal finance, there's a premium package where you get 2 consultations plus the bundle of 3. And then you could buy the full bundle of 6 and you get a big discount on that. And it lands up, instead of 3,000 Rand, 2,500 Rand. If you decide to take the full bundle, but you want to make it a premium package, then you can also have you can have 2 consultations on with that, and it will cost you 3,000 Rand. And then, because the business really relies a lot on word of mouth and spreading the message, we have a referral discount. We are very big on referrals. We have a referral program, the whole katoot. So it gives you a little bit more information on our referral discount. Here's some quotes from some of our recent clients. Again, a lot of the work that we do is very confidential. So, you know, to have any testimonials from them, and that's, I can't add their names and the companies and that, but these are some of the things that people have said. If you want to speak to any of my clients, there's a few of my clients that actually don't mind if you phone them, and they'll tell you about some of the work that I've done with them. So these are some of the other products that we've got. I've mentioned the 18-month consulting program, the one-on-one business strategy consultations, the 5-hour VIP days that I do, either, you know, with strategy or creative or a combination of both. But I also do advanced consultations, things also like capability developments, external investments and proposal programs, the textbook I've mentioned, the referral program, and also we're very big on entrepreneurial teaching of children and teens. So we've got a talk, we've got educational books. We work together with the foundation at the moment. This foundation is also sponsored and supported by a group of banks in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're teaching teens in the Caribbean area entrepreneurship, public speaking, but also very much financial literacy. So just an overview of the program gives you an idea of what's all involved, but most importantly, that by participating in the program, you acknowledge that you've read, understood, and agreed to the following disclaimers. And I've put the disclaimers here. You know, you can see that we just try and keep it as easy and self-explanatory, and you know, we don't try and complicate things. So it's not financial advice. You can use it at your own discretion. I, Mariam Berendt, will not be held liable for any decisions that you make, and confidentiality side of things. And there we go. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope that we can possibly end up meeting each other through one-on-one consultations. If that doesn't happen, that's also okay. You know, if you want to take on the questionnaire, you can either do it manually yourself, go through the questions, write it out in a workbook, or if you want to submit your answers, I'll make sure that It comes through to my desk directly. It doesn't come to any of my team, and I'll just send you the email with everything done up on an Excel spreadsheet. And yeah, but you will see. You'll see there's you shouldn't have any concerns about anything. It's really to help you and help you and your business to move forward and to be able to support uh, yourself, your business, and your dependents, and your family, and your legacy, and putting money aside for the future and all of that. So I hope that my services can empower you on your entrepreneurial journey. And again, I thank you for your time. Have a lovely day.